Stay a while and listen.
GHN on VGF, take number 3. This is why we're pre-recording going into doing video here. How you doing, Micah?
Oh, I'm great. It's great to be here for the third time.
Yeah, third time today. We're going to get this right eventually. What are you drinking, by the way?
Oh, this guy right here is a Victory Sour Monkey, and he's excellent, but not for the faint of heart.
Not for the faint. Oh, yeah, that's like 9% alcohol or something, isn't it?
9.5, yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to pour one over here. I'm staring it down.
Yeah.
It looks good. By the way, we're brought to you by Synth & Co. Synth & Co. is a streetwear brand based out of Nashville, promoting peace, love, togetherness through their lighthearted, cartoonish designs. They just dropped their Never Growing t-shirt, which is definitely my favorite so far. Starting today, GHN listeners can get free shipping just by going to synthandco.com. That's synthandco.com and use the promo code GHN. Follow them on Twitter and Instagram at synthandco.com. You can just go to our followers and we're following them, and you can hit the follow button as well. So this has been an interesting week. Obviously, it's The Last of Us 2 released.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see what I posted this morning, by the way?
I did see that.
Did you read it?
Not the whole thing. I being at work, I get glances, but I get notifications when you post things, so I try to at least see what's going on. But I just
get a lot of notifications. I'm sorry.
A few, yeah. But I love it because you have good content.
Oh, so. Well, I appreciate it. Anyway, the big thing that's going on right now with The Last of Us Part 2, and did you read the spoilers at all?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, we're obviously not going to talk about the spoilers. But it is worth mentioning that I think a lot of people predicted what was going to happen, and then in turn, it looks like that's exactly what happening. And that's to go with it got really good critic reviews, which is awesome. But the user reviews have been less than perfect, to say the least.
Yeah, 3%.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, like 3.3 or something like that. Okay, so let me ask you this. When it comes to reading reviews and stuff, how much do you actually take into consideration, and I'm going to pour this drink while you talk, how much do you actually take into consideration before buying a game? User reviews or critic reviews? Or what's your judgment before buying a game?
For me personally, I watch a trailer, and if the trailer grabs me, I watch some gameplay footage. And if it looks like something that
I'm spilling this beer all over myself.
If I see something that piques my interest and also piques the interest of my friends that I'm, gonna be playing something with, because I don't play a lot of games by myself. If I'm gonna pick up a new game, it's gonna be something that at least one of my other friends is going to be something can play with me. So I don't play a lot of single player anymore.
Yeah.
I used to. I'm sure I'll get back into it eventually. But as of right now, I never look at user reviews. I never look at critic reviews. If I see a game that looks interesting, but that's new games. If we talk about old games, like used games, stuff like that, if I'm going through Xbox Game Pass, for example, I'm always going to read the user reviews. Because if a game's got a good overall user rating and mostly positive, I'm going to check it out. But I'm also going to read those 1-star reviews because people are really honest. But most of them are just incredibly biased.
Yeah, I feel like the 2 to 3 star reviews are usually the most honest. If you're giving it a 5 or if you're giving it a 1, which, I mean, listen, if you absolutely loved it, that's great.
Yeah.
By all means, more power to you.
Yeah.
But most people will land on like a 3 or a 4 or 2.
They'll like
They're not going to go to the extreme. It's just like politics.
Yeah.
It's literally just like politics.
They'll like aspects of it in one way and criticize aspects of it in another. And that's great because that helps people improve their games.
Yeah. So obviously, and you're an Xbox gamer too.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. I am too, by the way. Which that's another thing I get a lot of shit for on the account. Which not even being an Xbox gamer, it's because I post so much pro PlayStation stuff.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I just call it how it is. Sorry, especially after this last PlayStation event, they're just better. Like the consoles, when you're looking at the consoles, when you're comparing them, Xbox is a little better as far as the specs go, but it's not even noticeable. And so when you're actually going and comparing games, I mean, what off the top of your head, what are the Xbox exclusive games?
I'm pretty sure Halo Infinite isn't exclusive anymore, so I don't.
Well, it
is.
I think it's going to come into PC too. I think.
Oh, okay. So still technically exclusive.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Oh my god! Oh, that just kicked me in the ass.
Yeah, that's bright.
I also spilled it all down myself. It looks like I pissed everywhere. Either way,
Happens to the best of us.
oh yeah, especially pissing everywhere. One thing that I noticed with PlayStation is though you can literally like you named Halo, like I can think is BioShock. I think that's an Xbox exclusive, isn't it?
Is it?
I don't know. I thought it was. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. But they have like one or two other exclusives where now you go over to Sony. You're looking at Spider-Man. You're looking at Uncharted. You're looking at The Last of Us.
God of War.
God of War.
Oh my God, so many games that I would love to play, but the the exclusivity. This is a little off topic, but I will say one time, like it has never bothered me too terribly much because I've been okay with not getting to play those games. But when Destiny came out, every single content release, PlayStation got something that Xbox didn't.
Well, that just happened with. Didn't Warzone release early on PlayStation 2?
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe it didn't. They got something. No, they got PlayStation got Call of Duty 2 remastered. Or Modern Warfare 2 remastered. They got the campaign mode, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they got like a month of it. Yeah.
I mean, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm not chomping at the bit to replay that. I keep learning that nostalgia, like sometimes you just need to leave those games that you love as a memory. Because going back and trying to play them again, you cannot get in that mindset that you were. You cannot recreate that like awesome memory. And that's not always true, but from my experience, when I try to go back and play my favorite childhood games, I'm like, I'd rather be playing something else right now, you know?
Right. Okay, so let's play this game real quick then. If you could remaster any game from your childhood and have it like, okay, let's take it a step farther.
Yeah.
If you could remaster any game from your childhood and have it developed by any studio.
Okay.
And take your time on that. That's not an easy question.
That is not an easy question.
It's a loaded one.
Yeah. So my instinct is to say GoldenEye being remastered by like Infinity Ward or something like that.
Yeah. That's a good call though.
Yeah.
That's a really good call.
I'm going to stick with that one. I'm sure there's another one I could come up with, but that one, man, that would be good. I sunk so many hours into that little multiplayer mode that they had. And then the one that came out after that, Nightfire, I think it was, the one where Oddjob had the hat that instant kill people.
Yes. Oh, that was awful. I don't think I replayed that one once. I played GoldenEye and then The World Is Not Enough.
Yeah.
I love The World Is Not Enough.
Yeah.
I thought for me that was up there with GoldenEye because the maps were so underrated.
Yeah.
But man, GoldenEye is such a revolutionary game.
Oh, it was
Wasn't that produced with only like 7 people too?
It was something ridiculous.
It was it was produced with like 7 people, and if I remember correctly, and don't quote me on this, look it up before. I think a majority of the people had never worked on a video game before or had never developed a video game before.
We should check that out because that would be cool.
I think there's something along those lines, but don't quote me. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong game.
Okay.
For me though, I don't even know if you remember it. Not a lot of people do. It was kind of one of those like small cult classic things. I would go from Super Nintendo, Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Oh, it's fun. I don't even know what company I'd want to develop that. Zombies Ate My Neighbors it's essentially you can play as a guy or a girl, like growing up, and their whole neighborhood is turned into like this Halloween. Like their neighbors have turned into zombies, werewolves. You have to go and like try and solve puzzles with it's not like a intense like scary game at all.
But it's
just a
like,
good, fun, wholesome game.
Kind of ahead of its time, too.
A little bit. I always wonder how it would have done if it had come out even like 5 years later on Super Nintendo or on Nintendo 64 or something like that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Man, I love, like, a few years ago, I remember people getting mad that so many things were being remastered and redone. But now, like, in 2020, some of the stuff that's been remastered and redone, like, applause, honestly. Because Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Like,
Age of Empires is my jam.
I love Age of Empires. I spent way too much time playing that growing up. Not Age of Empires and Age of Mythology, too. Both of those were, man, I learned a fair chunk of my knowledge in history from those games just by playing the story.
They're accurate.
Reading everything because they cared enough to put like detailed information about what actually happened back then, and then you got to play it, and that's like what an excellent learning experience through through history.
Well, and they even brought in a lot of the characters too, or not, I especially characters like they were like in a scripted TV show, but they're not. They're actually real people who really exist.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I know Joan of Arc was one of them.
Joan of Arc was one of them. The guy from Scotland that
that's who I was stuck on just a second ago.
I can't say his name.
Richard of Lionheart. I remember he was on there.
Yeah, but that's William Wallace.
Yes, William. Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
That and the Aztec warriors and stuff like that.
That was
and the
from
Spaniards.
that
the second game.
Yeah. Something Conquerors.
Yeah, the expansion, the Conqueror's expansion.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
I'm so excited because I just got this new CyberPower PC hooked up, the one that I'm using to screw this up right now.
Yeah.
And I just remembered like all the games that I haven't been able to play on Mac now that have come out since.
Bro.
And the Age of Empires 2 remaster. I am so on that tonight.
Time. Yeah, that I don't know if you remember or not. Like it always cracked me up, and it stuck with me like every month for my entire life. Whoa, the freaking sound that the priests would make when they healed people in the first game.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Like it just baffles me, but it's so like almost comforting. It's weird.
It is. Yeah, there's something special about that game, man. Did you ever play the third one?
I didn't. I never got a chance to because the computer that I was using at the time literally couldn't even run it.
Oh.
That was my computer, was something that couldn't run Age of Empires 3.
Well, but what I liked about Age of Empires 2 is because you could actually like create your own battles and then play them out. On 3, you had a very small map size, so it made it difficult.
Oh, well, I think they did the game best in 2, personally. I think that was the peak of the game. 3, I don't know what happened with the studio, if they like changed hands or something like that, or just changed the team up, but they didn't seem to put as much care into it as they did the first 2 games.
No, not at all, unfortunately. I don't know, but man, some of those games back then, a lot of like Command and Conquer, those games, those were always a lot of fun. I remember playing Red Alert 2 for years. That was actually the first multiplayer game I ever played, was Command and Conquer Red Alert, and I was playing one of my brother's friends on Windows 95.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, that was old school, like, and I just remember getting my ass kicked. I mean, just completely got my ass handed to me, so, but, yeah.
Oh, man. I always lost to my friends on Halo 1 and Halo 2, man. I was so bad compared to them. Playing SWAT on Lockdown, that snowy map that was super duper small, I would always get destroyed. Josiah, if you're watching this, screw you, buddy.
Well, I don't know if anyone's going to be watching this the way I'm screwing it up right now. By the way, just for people that know, like, I'm manually switching between, like, camera views here. And so, like, if you see, like, Micah's talking, but it's not on him or vice versa, that's just on me drinking right now, just to be completely honest with everybody. But that's how we're going to roll. I'll get used to it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we can do some research and find a way to swap them back and forth.
They've got an auto switcher on here, but like in order for this to work, it has to be able to auto switch by audio.
So audio cues alone. So if I made any sound whatsoever,
it would switch back
and forth.
Yeah, essentially kind of like what Zoom does.
Oh, okay.
Or just kind of auto switches. I don't know how to do it with actually to get the camera set up. I need to learn. I need to learn this. This is the learning process, though, but this is what's going to make it fun.
Yeah.
That, and we get to drink and talk to people, so,
sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there any other noteworthy remastered games that have come out in the past couple of years that you're...
No. Well, I mean, I notable ones that I would play, maybe not necessarily, but I know the Resident Evil ones have been really successful. I think that's... If we're going to mention remaster, I think we got to talk about them.
True.
They've been the best of the best. They've been two of the highest selling games in their remasters. Yeah. And 4 is going to, when they remaster 4, I don't know when that's coming out, probably 3 years, 2 years, something like that. It's going to blow the roof off sales because that was the best one they've done.
Yeah.
So
outside of that, no, there's a lot I'd like to see them remaster. Siphon Filter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever play Siphon Filter? Oh, yeah.
That would be a really cool one to remaster.
I'm surprised they haven't yet. I really am, because that was a pretty successful game.
It's the same thing with like Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, though. Like that game totally deserves to be like reformed and resold because it was so underrated. Like, I don't know if you played that, but that's one of those games that went so far under the radar, but it was excellent. Like, do you know the backstory on that game? Like,
I don't know I know of it. I don't know the backstory.
It was made by like a football player or something like that. He dumped his like millions from playing football into building a game studio, and he put his heart and soul into this game because he was a football player, but he was passionate about video games, and he like the studio went bankrupt, and
oh damn,
yeah, he just didn't have enough money basically. From what I remember reading.
That sounds about right. That sounds about the way the industry goes.
But the game, like, after they got the game out, and it was amazing. Excellent game. Like, no marketing, though. So,
that sucks.
Like, you can still find it in GameStops. Like, I saw a copy of it recently. I was like, awesome.
Do you ever go through GameStop, like, and just go and see, like, see if there's any, like, rare games in there or something like that?
Honestly,
there very rarely is, but...
I don't know if it was because I used to work there that I just don't really like going there. Because I worked there, that was one of my first jobs, and I didn't work there for very long, but it was just, like, all of my views of my first jobs, like working for Chick-fil-A, working for GameStop, they're skewed because of the fact that I was in a tiny, tiny, tiny town where nothing was the same as anywhere else, you know? Because working in, like, a retail store in a tiny town is not the same as working at a retail store in, like, Nashville, you know? Like, being 2 hours away from any real major, like, population, it makes things different.
Yeah, I can imagine so. So, okay, I mean, I've got to ask, I didn't know you worked for GameStop. Because I've heard a lot of stories, both really positive, really negative. What was your experience like?
My experience was right down the middle. It wasn't super positive. It wasn't super negative. It was a seasonal position. I worked there for like 6 months. Working there on Black Friday was bizarre, to say the least. Especially being in a small town, I didn't expect as many people to show up. But I guess when you're in a small town, you don't have much to do but play video games, you know?
Yeah.
So that place stayed busy with people, but also being in a small town. I'm sure this is true across the board. Like where I work now, I don't deal with ridiculous customers terribly much. Most people are pretty cool. But working in like GameStop where you have to deal with parents and their children, like that dynamic right there between a salesperson, a child that wants something, and a parent that's trying to do something nice for their child but also doesn't understand what's going on, it puts the retail person in a very uncomfortable position, in my opinion, and it's bizarre.
Okay,
to say the least.
All right, so we got to break this down even farther now. I'm really digging into your life. This is great. How often did people come in who were clearly underage trying to buy like a rated M game?
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
How often? Not you per se, but how often could they get away with it?
Well, the rule was if a parent allowed it, it was fine.
Right.
So most of the time, the kids wouldn't even try. Most of the time, parents just don't care. They, like, it happens all the time because parents, like a lot of parents, just don't really care. Like, probably if they're playing something horribly violent at home, they're probably watching movies that are also horribly violent and God knows what else, you know? So for your average, I hate to say average because I don't want to like demonize half of American parents, but it's a weird place. People don't know what to do.
It really is,
you know, and there's this weird dynamic between, you know, listening to what the government has to say and then being like, you know, I'm going to do what I want, you know?
Yeah. It's,
This is my child. The MSRB, or is it MSRB?
Yeah, ESRB.
ESRB.
Yeah, ESRB.
The ESRB, like, most people disregard the guidelines.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I think back to my childhood, too. I mean, I remember when I can't remember I was in, it was like 7th, 8th grade or something when Grand Theft Auto 3 came out. Yeah. And boy, I got that no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, my parents bought it for me. I mean, like, I don't know if it was just something they didn't think about. They just didn't care. Maybe they knew I was just so super mature for that age.
Yeah.
I wasn't, but...
I don't know.
So yeah,
I
that's
mean, I
that's a tricky one to be in though, from your position.
It is, because like imagine in the future when we're parents and our, us being gamers want our child to be able to experience things that we got to experience.
Oh yeah, that's gonna put you in a real awkward spot as a parent. Then
because I played things I shouldn't have played when I was young, and
So where do you draw? Okay, let's set up the scenario. All right, it's let's say it's 15 years from now. You've got
a 13-year-old or something.
Let's call it 11.
11. Okay.
11, not quite a teenager.
Yeah.
I guess 13 is technically a teenager, I think, isn't it? Yeah, because 11, 12 is preteen.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got a preteen, 11, 12 years old.
Yeah.
And GTA 6 finally comes out. Finally comes out in 15 years.
Yeah.
After GTA 5 has been on PlayStation like 5 through 6.
Yeah.
So let's say you're in that scenario. I mean, what kind of game GTA is going to be.
Yep.
It's going to be an amazing game.
Yeah.
Where do you draw the line as a parent if you're in that situation? Because honestly, I don't know where I would. I don't know.
I would like to think that I will stay true to keeping my kids on stuff like Nintendo games for the most part. But at the same time, when I was a teenager, I thrived on shooters. Like Call of Duty, Halo, whatever. Like any kind of shooter I played, it was my jam. And I have a feeling that if I have a son, he's going to feel the same way when he's 13 or 14 years old. So am I going to willfully keep that from him when all of his friends are probably going to be playing it anyway?
That's a big thing.
And he's going to be, exposed to it at their houses and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I guess it's just as it comes. You're just gonna have to make that decision when you get hit with it,
Yeah, it's a legitimate concern though, and this is I'm glad I'll probably never have to worry about it. But at the same time, I can completely understand where. I mean, it's at that point when you have kids that age, and like you said, they're all hanging around, they're all playing Call of Duty, they're all playing these multiplayer games. We've all been on the lobbies where the 11 and 12-year-olds are. Believe me, they make themselves well known,
very very well
in those lobbies. And I'm not knocking it.
I made myself very well known. As
Did
well.
you?
Yeah.
Oh, I can see that.
My voice didn't change till I was honestly 16, 17. My voice was high for a really really long time, so people hated me.
Oh yeah, but you could have had some more fun with him too.
A squeaker.
Oh, a squeaker. I totally forgot that name existed.
Oh yeah. That wasn't great.
No. Well, either way, I don't even necessarily remember what I was talking about. Oh, okay. Well, when as a parent, that your kid can literally be he can literally at that age, I don't know if lose friends is the right word.
Yeah.
But if everybody at that age group is playing this game and you're the one parent that's saying they can't, that does affect them in a way, even if you are being a better parent about it.
Yeah.
So man, having to draw that line is tough. I've never really thought about that from a parental point of view.
Yeah. And we're also in a weird position with our technological wow, that word just escaped me. Progression.
Yeah.
How we're moving forward into the future, because to me it looks like in the next few years meaning 10, 15, 30 years, VR is going to be the future.
Oh gosh.
So
imagine parenting through that.
Oh my god, I'm terrified, honestly, because VR is I don't even completely grasp it, the capabilities of it and what you're going to be able to do with it. It's terrifying, but also super exciting, because as it gets more and more realistic, that's a huge conversation. That's like tapping on the top of a massive, massive iceberg. But
yeah. But at the same time, okay, and this is really interesting, actually. I had this conversation when I had Mike Wilson on the podcast, the CEO of Devolver Digital.
Yeah.
And there is actually a VR game. It came out in April. It's called Sound Self. And it is a psychedelic experience. You put on this VR headset.
Yeah.
And it turns it into a psychedelic experience.
Yeah.
And the sound and the sounds that you make actually control your environment.
What?
Just like it is on psychedelics. And he said, and I asked Mike, I was like, have you tried this yet? And he's like, yeah, I tried it back like 3 or 4 years ago or something like that when they were still testing it out.
Yeah.
He's like, I made it about 30 seconds before I was like, wow, okay, I know where this is going. So we're talking like in therapies are signing up, like therapists are signing up to use this with their patients.
Yeah.
So to say like that's where we are now,
Yeah.
and to say like we were talking about in 15 years, where is VR gonna be?
Yeah.
That's a whole new ballgame that you have to worry about parenting. And we're talking about stuff that we haven't even thought of yet that's going to come up.
Yeah, things are going to be just so vastly different in 5 years. You
Yeah.
know, like, the way things are progressing, the next console generation might be not even a console.
Oh, gosh. Just a giant cloud.
It could be.
We're close to it, man.
Man, I have, like, 4, physical copies of games for my Xbox. I have like hundreds of games for my Xbox, but 4 actual physical copies. The rest are on the cloud.
And did you used to be one of those people who were like, I'm just gonna stick to physical games? Yep. So was I. Yep, I'm in the same exact spot. I can't remember the last time that I actually bought a physical game. I think honestly, I swear to God, I think it was Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Yeah. What was the last one I bought? No, I did buy the physical copy of Destiny 2 when it came out, so that was
okay.
That's one thing. But man, everything's going crazy, and we have no way of predicting it. So we're just along for the ride, and just got to try to make a difference where we can. But being prepared for these changes that are coming, we're just gonna have to learn to be very flexible and try to educate ourselves the best we can as things progress. Because I have a feeling that VR and things that can mess with your mind itself, like playing a video game obviously has an effect on your mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
But having something that invasive into your senses is, I feel like, a different story, And especially if we ever come up with the ability to have full body feeling, like a suit even some like kind of nerve connector thing like that. Like if we go, have you ever seen do you watch anime at all?
It's been a while. Anime was tough for me to get into.
Yeah.
What's a good starting point for that? And then get back to your point because I'm really curious.
On Netflix, one of the classic animes that I loved, I haven't watched anime much lately, but I used to. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. That for me was like my starting point. It's an excellent story. It's very gripping. I watched it subbed, but most people just say watch it dubbed instead of subtitles, because subtitles you got to get used to listening to like Japanese voiceovers, but with dubbed you're listening to American voice actors playing characters, so it's different,
Yeah.
But where even was I? I was talking about VR.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about VR. I don't know where you're going. This is why I'm so awful at this, man. I totally took you off on a total different tangent about anime, and I don't even know shit about anime.
Oh, I was. I remember.
Bodysuits. Bodysuits.
I brought up anime because there is an anime called. I almost called it Black Desert Online, but that is it's something online. Now I can't even say it. Anyway, the whole premise of the show is it's like 40 years in the future. It's like 2050. We have developed a helmet that we can like put on and lay down, and it literally connects our consciousness into a digital world. And this man builds this giant RPG, massive, huge open world, like massive beyond anything we can even imagine. And he puts like 300,000 actual people in it. But it turns out he's like a madman, and he has rigged every single one of the helmets that were sold to all of these people that are in his game, that if they try to take their helmet off or leave the game, it will fry their brain. So it'll kill them if they try to leave the game. So the only way to leave the game is to play the game and get to the like final destination in the game and like technically beat the game. So it really cool premise for like
that is
a show. It went way off the rails in the second season. For me personally, I hated the second season. The first season was great, but
how many seasons are there?
I think there's 3 now. It's been out for like 10 or 11 years.
Oh, okay.
It's a really, really interesting premise, and it would be really, really cool because in the game, it was your consciousness in a digital body. So they essentially could just transfer you into a digital body. You could feel everything. You could taste everything. You could be like a sorcerer or do whatever you wanted because you could change your digital body as much as you wanted. But it still had your actual human consciousness in it. So your body would just lay on a bed in the real world as an empty shell. You wouldn't even be there. Your consciousness is actually like gone. So it's really cool, but
that is
terrifying.
Trippy as fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was a wild ride. But
how long before you? Okay, I'm just gonna start over because this is serious. I'm obsessed with consciousness and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What you just described, that plot, how far away? I mean, based on whatever knowledge you have, do you think we actually are from that?
We don't know hardly anything about the human consciousness.
Nothing.
Yeah. I don't think we're anywhere near it because we don't even know what it is technically. We can't even really classify it from what I understand. You know, some people say it's just, you know, a meaty potato clock in your head that's just really, 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 really complicated that makes us feel everything and makes us like who we are and everything like that. But then you have people saying you have a soul who is a pilot in a mech suit, basically a fleshy mech suit. That's your soul piloting your body. Your body isn't your soul and your soul isn't your body. It's just a vessel for your soul. So it's like, I don't know, man. I really don't know.
It's sad because I think VR is going to help us answer a lot of these questions.
I think it really could.
But how do you even? I don't even know how you measure something like consciousness, though. Can you? I don't think you possibly can. I mean, I'm a licensed hypnotist, so I've worked with people with consciousness on a regular basis, and it's still I don't know what it is. Nobody. It's so freaking fascinating to me, consciousness, and I'm actually quite. I'm surprised there hasn't been a game that's really dove into it.
Yeah, diving into consciousness. I mean, there are people that have written book after book. There's endless books on the human consciousness.
Yeah,
but people are just basically guessing, from what I understand. Like, we don't truly understand it. I mean, luckily, we've gotten to the point in like surgery and stuff like that. We have gotten to the point where we can understand how the brain itself works, how it functions as an organ, so we can take parts off of it and fix it and do things to it to like make it work again. And not to mention messing with the chemical balances in your brain to like fix you. But that doesn't change anything about your consciousness. That's just your physical body. That's, even though it can mess with your mood and stuff like that, your mood is not who you are. Or maybe your mood is who you are.
Maybe it is. Okay, check this out.
Another question.
I'm gonna try and explain this. This is the weed talking a little bit. I'm gonna try to explain this because all this just gave me an idea for a game. All right. Okay. You know how when you die in a game, you can respawn and come back?
Yeah.
What if there was an entire game dedicated to what happens in between you dying and respawning? How did you earn that respawn?
Oh.
A whole game just dedicated to that.
So it's kind of like the gulag in Call of Duty. You beat someone to death in a dirty bathroom.
Quite literally. Yes. Okay. Well, there goes my game idea because Call of Duty already did it. Of course, they are the Simpsons of gaming.
But in like other games and stuff like that, that would be a really cool premise to have like a game with a drawn out mechanic to bringing you back to life. Because like Sea of Thieves has something like that. When you die in Sea of Thieves, you go to Davy Jones' locker, and you have to like pay the ferryman to let you come back to life, kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
So
that's a creative. That kind of does that. I think that actually ties into the folklore a little bit.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, because pirates and everything. Davy Jones is like the Undertaker or the Grim Reaper, essentially, of the pirate world.
Right.
Responsible for ferrying souls to the afterlife. I only got that from the Pirates of the Caribbean movie, so that could be completely way off base.
You know what? Those are based on fact. Guaranteed. Yeah. 100% fact.
Captain Jack Sparrow was a real man.
Oh, man. I wanted to get to this article, man. I know I sent this to you a while ago.
Yeah.
And this is... It's kind of shit, actually. And it's kind of shit just because it's going to piss a lot of gamers off, which is one of the reasons I want to talk about it, because I love pissing people off. And the article is from Ranker. It's things gamers should probably just stop complaining about. So I'm just gonna list these off, and you just tell me if it's worth complaining about, or better yet, if you have an argument either way on this.
Okay.
And the number one thing that they have on here is console wars.
For me personally, console wars, like, it's funny to an extent. Like, I enjoy, I don't know why I enjoy this, but I enjoy the meme universe and how people will always find a way to jokingly say something's better than something else, or just make fun of something outright. But the memes in relation to console wars for forever has been really funny. But the discourse about console wars, like, you can talk about the specs, you can talk about the games, you can talk about whatever the external design, but when it comes down to it, the whole point of a console is to enjoy it and to have fun, you know, playing by yourself, playing with friends, watching a movie with your family. Like, it's like people are forgetting what the purpose of a console is and getting hung up on what it is. Obviously, we want things to get better, we want things to get stronger, we want to be able to do more and have more features, and we want things to progress, because that's what we've gotten used to. Every single, you know, generation of consoles has been better than the last, which is fantastic, because if they were going the other way, then what's the point? But it's I don't understand the point in fighting about consoles. Like, if you like PlayStation, great. If you are a PC master race, you are technically better than all of us. I'll admit that right now. But if you love like Xbox, or you know, if you play on your phone, like, we're all gamers. We're all here for the same reason. Why does it matter what we play on? Shouldn't it matter what we are having fun doing?
Yeah, I wonder if that's actually another one on the list. I haven't gone down that far, but I imagine we're going to get to the point where mobile gamers aren't gamers. That's something that gamers like to complain about for whatever reason. Who gives a shit?
I don't give a shit.
Who gives a shit?
I'm a gamer, and I play on my phone. I play on my Switch. I play on my Xbox, and whenever I get to join the glorious PC Master Race, I will be a glorious PC Master Race fella, you know?
Oh, you just got to wait for PC2 to come out.
Yeah, well, yeah.
The sequel.
The sequel.
Who was it that actually tried that? I think like someone, I can't remember. I thought there was a company that actually
sounds like
released
a crappy
something
off-brand.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was a very shitty off-brand. But either way, and this other one, by the way, I only bring up this article because a couple of people send it to me. And they're like, "Oh, what's your opinion?" I'm like, "I don't give a shit, really." Video games are easy. I don't
like nowadays.
I guess that means nowadays. I don't understand. I mean, every generation in my eyes has had good games, has had difficult games, and has had easy games.
Yeah, every console generation does have that. I mean, think about the hard games over the years. What is the number one difficult game that sticks out to me is Dark Souls.
Yeah,
Dark Souls 1, hard until you got used to it. Super easy afterwards. Dark Souls 2, same thing. Only as a beginner is it hard until you get the game. Any game that has a big learning curve is considered hard to some people because they just haven't taken the time to get it. But that kind of goes back around to what I was talking about last week, or week before last, about Destiny and how they tried to make the gameplay easier, and that way more people would want to play against the really, really sweaty competitive people like me, because it got to the point where I would only fight really, really hard people because everyone else gave up on the game because it was just too hard, because they just didn't want to put in the time to figure out how to do it. But it all comes down to, like, fun. Like, a game doesn't have to be difficult to be fun.
Yeah.
But some people have more fun with more difficult games. There's difficult games that come out every, like, generation. But yeah, I think what people are more upset about is the games that they're used to being difficult being made easier. It's not necessarily about games in general being easy, more or less them trying to dumb down the AAA titles to be more, you know, widely accessible.
Yeah. This one actually got more, and I think it's funny, it kind of goes back to the last one. This one actually got more votes than video games are easy, and it's Microsoft sucks. It's just, I mean, listen, we're both Xbox gamers here. Yeah. So I've always said, I just want to call it like it is. Xbox has really shitty exclusives.
Yeah.
And their exclusives, like when PlayStation releases an exclusive, like, there's no worry in the air. There's that energy. It's like, oh, this is going to be good. Even when what was it? Horizon Zero Dawn came out.
And it was
nobody was worried. This was a brand new IP coming out. Everyone was like, oh, this is going to be awesome because it's PlayStation.
But that also kind of ties to the developer a little bit too, because Cyberpunk 2077 is coming out soon, and not a soul thinks that's going to be bad.
No,
but that's every console, you know.
Delayed again.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Let them delay. They've earned it.
I kind of wanted.
They've earned it.
I wanted it to come after the new console because I wanted to be able to get it and the new console too.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the top launch title. I think obviously it is now because it's coming out in November. So I think that's one of the reasons they may have actually done it.
What, 19th?
Yeah, something like I mean, it's literally going to come out right along with the next gen console, so it only makes sense. They're putting all this work. They want you to play this on next gen.
Yeah,
of course they do.
Yeah, it's supposed to be excellent, and I don't know why they had to put in customizable genitalia, but whatever, man.
Yeah,
all the power to you guys. Didn't
the game Conan Exiles have like massive dogs in it just randomly?
I don't remember anything about that, but that sounds. I mean, people mod those games to be ridiculous anyway. Yeah. So, man, some of the Skyrim mods I've seen in the past are really wild.
We'll talk about dongs another day. Yeah. This is an interesting one. People pretending to be gamers. This one actually got a lot of upvotes. I guess this is something that really pisses people off.
Are you talking about like girl gamers?
I don't know what they're referring to. It just doesn't really. I mean, and they're blaming social media for it, which I agree with. Whatever, I can blame social media for everything.
I feel like I've seen people get more mad about like girl streamers that don't even actually play any games, but they kind of catered towards the gaming community just to get more views and everything from them, even though they don't actually game and they're a fake gamer. But it's like, it's whatever, man. Like, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Do what you want. That's why all of these things exist, you know. Everyone's trying to make a living.
It would be one thing if people were sitting there forcing them to watch it, like holding their eyes open, watching it.
To do anything.
Yeah, you're good. If you don't want to watch a girl stream, don't watch a girl stream. Yeah, if you don't want to watch a dude stream, don't watch him stream.
Everyone that gets all upset about like Belle Delphine and stuff like that, like whatever, like look away.
What's the story behind this? I don't know. I honestly don't know anything about her. All I saw is, oh, she's back, and I'm sitting there. Who?
Yeah. Okay. So. The extent of my knowledge of it is she is, one, controversial, two, she sold her bathwater to people and got in trouble for it because people were like drinking it and trying to like do crazy things with it, and like it's worth a Google for sure.
I'm Googling that right now. I want to see who's paying for this. That's sold bathwater.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Who was paying $30 for? She did.
Yeah.
How did I miss this? As if like I'm not going to be like a customer lining up. Like I'm not tossing my name into the hat for this, but
most
immediately we could.
99% of people would be right in your shoes on that one. So
she's got a global following, 4.2 million people on Instagram, and she announced she'd be selling $30 bottles of bath water for all you thirsty gamer boys. Okay, so she's legitimately targeting gamers then for this. Okay.
Yeah. She's more or less targeting the mommy get my chicken tendies basement dwelling type of gamer boy. You know, because most average gamer wouldn't pay any attention to that other than to just be like, yo, what the heck is this all about?
I'm just sitting here looking. The bathwater sale comes in the wake of an array of strange stunts. Delphine has stuck googly eyes on a dead octopus, eaten photographs of her followers and other internet personalities, and filmed herself eating raw eggs. Okay.
Yeah.
So the bathwater thing.
Shock value.
Yeah, the bathwater thing seems not surprising at all anymore.
No.
That actually sounds
tame.
If you were to ask me about this right now, I would say the bathwater is the least controversial out of all these things. Okay. Well, I'm glad I just looked her up. Yeah. Because that's something I'm not going to remember. Okay.
There's a little education for you on something that is not going to affect your life in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, we don't know that. She may watch this and turn out to hate me. No, she wouldn't be the only one.
That'd be unfortunate.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe we can get Ethan and Gila from H3H3 to come to our rescue.
Who are they?
Huh?
I don't keep up with any of these people, man.
Bro, Ethan and Gila from H3H3 Productions, I love them. They are, like, the best. Honestly, one of the best, like, internet celebrity couples I've ever seen. She's got a brand called Teddy Fresh that I love, like, everything she makes. But what they basically do is make fun of other YouTubers for being, like, woefully ignorant. So they'll watch other YouTubers and just, like, tear apart everything they do in their video. And it's entertaining, but it is kind of mean. So it's like, I have to be in a mood to watch those videos because I'm not always in that, like, let's watch someone get torn apart mood.
Right. I was talking about this the other day, actually, on another podcast. Why YouTubers, it's so cringe to me, especially when the gaming YouTubers do it, when they all start off their stream like, hey, what's up, YouTubers? Hey, make sure you like it, make sure you hit that pound, like that notification button so you know when everything's getting posted. It's like, dude, you sound like a strip club DJ. Slow down, man. Like, nobody cares. Number one, everybody knows how to subscribe to your stupid channel. Oh, yeah. Everybody knows how to comment if they like your video, and everybody knows what that notification bell does. You don't need to tell us. And also, we don't need a 30-second intro trailer just to any video. No, like, if when people turn on the video, I will literally I will go to take more time out of my day to go to another YouTube video that takes more time just so I don't have to sit there and watch that stupid ass intro that you put together. Yep. Like, I get it. You want to seem cool and stuff like that, but people are watching your videos for the content.
Yeah. And
I'm a dick.
A lot of times people, like, younger YouTubers feel like they have to imitate that energy to get people to like them, and then it comes across like really fake and really overdone, because you have like really, really big YouTubers like Ali A, who is like a huge Call of Duty streamer, and I feel like he kind of grandfathered that like boisterous intro into a video, and I feel like everyone else is copying him for the most part. Yeah, essentially you're right. By the way, on this list, mobile gamers aren't true gamers. Yeah, it was definitely down on the bottom of the list. Last one before we wrap the show up. Video games are too short. I mean, I've felt that way at times. It really just depends on the game you play. Like Skyrim, I mean, obviously Skyrim was 8 years ago, but it was very, very, very long. But every single one of those games have been very, very, very long. I can't think of many games right now that are very long, but there are games that are like long stories. Yeah. But there are games with infinite amounts of progression, like Elder Scrolls Online. Even it feels like to me, No Man's Sky has a lot of depth to it. A lot of like, you can play that game for a really, really long time because there's just a lot of stuff you can do, a lot of stuff you can upgrade and stuff like that. Like, depth is maybe more artificial now. You know?
I liked it. It's a little deep. That's good. I like it. The only game that I can think of recently that I thought was too short was Outer Worlds. And that was only because I wanted more. Yeah. Selfishly.
I felt like Breath of the Wild was too short.
Yeah, I think that's fair too.
I loved it. It was literally a breath of fresh air in playing video games. Like, it was just fun, just pure fun. But it was over too quick.
Yeah.
Know?
And I think there are games that can be too long. I'm thinking like Witcher 3. Oh Holy shit, I've been playing this since December.
I know.
When does this freaking thing gonna end? Yeah. I'm on the DLCs and I'm like halfway through them.
Yeah.
It's just driving me nuts. I'm like, okay, let's just get through this.
Let's wrap this up. Let's go. Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate how much work went into it because, oh my God, the amount of work that goes into a game like that. I can't even imagine. I don't even think it's unimaginable to think about the amount of people putting in so many hours to make this thing a possibility. Yeah. And here I am bitching about it because it took me a little longer than I would have liked it to.
Man, we have it so good that we are just really fast and loose when it comes to the bitching about things these days.
Yeah. That's a good thing to end on right there.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to end on. We're going to end this up. We're going to go keep bitching. We will see you next week. As always, take care.